How's my mask? Look sexy? Look sexy? What's up everyone? How's it going? So today I want to talk about the 10 commandments of injury prevention. So if you've ever been injured in the gym before, you probably didn't watch this video. So the first one is going to be doing stupid stuff. Now I see this all the time, and this is really a surefire way to get hurt. If you're doing like a partner assisted barbell curl, or a partner assisted deadlift, or if you are maxing out on squats with one leg, or anything dumb, that's really a good way to get injured. A good rule of thumb is that if you're not sure if it's stupid or not, it's stupid. The solution for this one, pretty easy. Don't do it. Number 2 is going to be going too heavy. Now, what is going to get you injured? A 1 rep max or a 10 rep max? The 1 rep max for sure. It's just so much more can go wrong when you're only doing 1 rep. So typically I would stay to 3 reps and above, preferably 5 reps and above. This is going to get you more muscle growth and more long-term strength gain with a lot less risk. Alternatively, you can do 1 or 2 reps, just make sure that you have some reps in reserve. So doing 2 reps with your 3 or 4 rep max, that's relatively safe. But doing 2 reps with no reps in the tank, pretty risky. The solution is pretty easy for this one. Just train a little bit lighter. Even powerlifters do a lot of work in the 5 to 10 rep range. So that's really where you should be most of the year, most of the time with your training. Number 3 is going to be going to failure. Now, I train to failure a lot of the time, but on stuff like squats, deadlifts, bench press, I really don't fail because there's almost no value in failing. You're better off keeping 1, 2, even 3 reps in reserve because it's a lot safer. And the risk to reward ratio is, in the long term, much, much better. Plus, you don't even need to go to failure for maximum gains. Studies have shown that keeping a couple reps in the tank is actually better than training to failure. You can do more volume, you can use better technique, you can have better quality of sets and of reps. It's really just not worth it most of the time. If you like going to failure, go to failure on your isolation movements, your machines, maybe on the last set of every exercise. Number 4 is going to be too much volume. So this is more of a chronic situation than an acute situation. The first 3 that I mentioned, something happens suddenly. Something happens right away and you know you're injured. Your pec flies off and hits someone in the face, and then boom, you know you're injured. Doing too much volume doesn't really do that. Something just slowly feels worse and worse. Maybe you wake up in the morning and your shoulder hurts a little bit. Then the next week it's a little bit worse and a little bit worse. That's how you get injured through volume. It doesn't happen suddenly, it happens gradually. Now, how do you know how much volume to do? This takes experience. Everyone is a little bit different. Every body part for every person is going to be a little bit different. And so this takes a lot of experimentation, and it might take getting injured to find out how much volume you can do. Now, obviously getting injured isn't ideal, but it's still a useful piece of information. If you go over 10 sets per week on chest, and your shoulder always seems to hurt when you go over that, well then maybe just don't do it. Easy solution, lower your volume. Number 5 is going to be becoming unbalanced. So this is something that most people have, but they don't know. So most people have some kind of imbalance in their body. Often it's the shoulders, sometimes it's the upper back, sometimes it's the hips, sometimes it's the legs themselves. This is very common, but it can also be a cause of injury. For example, Usain Bolt, his stride is not even. I'll put a picture of him on the screen. You can see that his left to right sides aren't quite the same. And this has caused, or did cause, a lot of injuries in his career. Now, there's a lot of reasons this could happen. If you run on a sports track, you're always going the same way, and you can get a hip imbalance that way. If you run on the roads, most of the roads are sloped. They have a camber, because that way the water can run off of it. Now, unfortunately, if you always run on the same side of the road, you can develop unbalanced hips. Another one is deadlifting with a mixed grip. If you are holding one hand over, one hand under, your shoulders, your hips, and your upper back can become unbalanced. The solution to this one is a little bit trickier. It takes a lot longer than just, reducing your volume, don't lift heavy. You actually have to correct the problem. The best way to do this is unilateral exercises. So bilateral is when you use both limbs, bi, two. Unilateral is one, you're using one arm at a time, or one leg at a time. So something like a one-arm curl, a one-arm dumbbell press, or a Bulgarian split squat is really going to help assess which arm or which leg is stronger. However, it's worth noting that if you don't correct the problem, all the solution in the world won't really help that much. So if you're deadlifting with a mixed grip, switch grips, switch sides. If you're running all the same time on one way on the track, do one lap this way, one lap this way. If you're always on that side of the road, switch sides if you can. Alright, that is all for today. Make sure to like and subscribe. Number 6 through 10 will be next time.